Welcome to Guitar Search Saturdays. My name's Shane. This is episode 25, shot here locally at a store called the Guitar Colonel, right here in Melbourne, Australia. I've never actually been into this shop before. Several of my friends rave about it, and I know a couple of my good friends have spent a few bucks in here over the years. If you're into high-end used instruments and amplifiers, you're definitely going to dig this shop. If you do enjoy Guitar Search Saturday, don't forget to give the video the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. It really does help. If you have any friends who are into guitars, please share the series with them. I'll post a link to the full playlist up in the cards. Now, the Guitar Colonel is a little bit different to a lot of other music shops in Melbourne, with the exception of a few. To put it simply, the way it works is you take your instruments to the Guitar Colonel. He will help sell them on your behalf and also take a small commission. Judging from the Google reviews, this is not only a really great experience for the buyer, but also for someone wanting to sell their instrument. I don't know about you, but I'd much prefer going in and actually testing an instrument as opposed to just buying it online, sight unseen. While there is a lot of higher end stuff, there's also some entry-level guitars in both acoustic and electric styles, so there'll be something in here for just about everybody. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Anthony, the Guitar Colonel, for allowing me to come through his shop with my camera and show you what he's got. This is a really great shop and I hope you enjoy it. Let's go in and take a look. The shop's actually located on the first floor, but the walk upstairs is actually really cool. We get to see some really cool framed images and posters of musicians and bands. It was great to see a collage of local musicians as well as some celebrities that actually dropped in on the store. This is a really great touch. We're off to a pretty cool start already. This first wall is based mostly at more affordable acoustic instruments. As you can see on the wall, it also says Junior. These are aimed at maybe more entry-level guitars, but there's something that's already caught my eye. This first beautiful looking acoustic guitar is the Epiphone Hummingbird Pro. Not only is the top of this guitar solid spruce, the actual body and neck are also mahogany, so you're getting a very nice acoustic guitar for the price. I know a number of gigging musicians who absolutely swear by these guitars. Let's check out the top up close. This is one of the first guitars I'd seen in a while. I had no idea what it was all about. So this is actually a guitar called a Cordoba. It's inspired by Coco, which was a Disney Pixar film. I guess that's one really cool way of getting kids into playing guitar. Theme it like their favorite movie or film, and you're laughing. The top of this guitar might actually look like it's painted on, but it's actually laser etched. I would have loved something like this as a kid if they themed it after one of my favorite movies. Absolutely. This great looking little Vox amp is actually a Vox AC4. It's a 4-watt tube combo, or valve combo, depending on where you live. Believe it or not, this little amplifier is also loaded with an 8-inch Celestion speaker. That's actually pretty sweet. One of the great things about Vox amps is they really just keep that classic look over time. This has a really 1960s kind of vibe about it. Hey, check this out. This is an original 1970s twin reverb. I'm not 100% certain which year this is, but it's definitely a 1970s. You can tell that by just looking at the faceplate. Given they also make reissues, this one 100% is a 1970s amp. When I first saw this amplifier, the first thing that came to mind was Golden Tone, but it's not actually a Golden Tone. It looks like it might be a brand called Diason or a Diason. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce them, but they were made between 1969 and 1970, or somewhere around there. I would have loved to have tried this out, but sadly, no lefties. Also, no lefty alarm. Fear not those with weak hearts. For those who are unfamiliar with Traynor, I've actually owned a few of their amplifiers over the years. The best one of the ones I've owned was a YCV40. It had the 6L6 power tubes and it really did sound great. This particular amp is the YCV20. It's loaded with a 12-inch speaker and it's kind of like Traynor / Yorkville's answer to the Fender Blues Jr. There's one main difference between this and the Fender Blues Jr. The Fender Blues Jr. is typically just a one-channel amplifier with a fat switch. This has its own dedicated clean channel as well as an overdrive channel that you can also boost thanks to the foot switch. So it kind of does what the Blues Jr. does, but it's like a two-channel amp. I'd love to go back and give this a go. Here's an amp I don't think I've ever run into in any of the shops that I've been in the last 12 months. This is the Marshall / Signature amplifier. It's rated at 5 watts and has a single 12-inch speaker. It has 2 channels switchable between clean and overdrive. The clean channel is supposed to take you from /clean to raunchy crunch, and the overdrive channel nails that /style dirty tone. But will it, sweet child of mine? Over the last 6 months especially, at least on YouTube, there's been a whole lot of hype around Morgan amplification and Morgan amps in general. And there's good reason, they actually sound really, really good. I have a few friends, including Dr. Rick and Ryan, who both have a Morgan amp, or at least had a few over the years. This particular amp is handmade in the USA. It's a 22 watt Class AB tube amp. It also has 2 6V6 power tubes and 2 12AX7 power tubes, so it's kind of reminiscent of a Fender Deluxe Reverb, at least in its configuration. It was right about that time I started to panic because I saw a dog out of the corner of my eye and it looked super vicious. Just kidding, this is Panda. Panda is the most chilled dog I've ever met. If you remember when we walked into the shop, there was actually a massive painting on the wall of Panda. How cool is that? In the background, I noticed an amplifier called a Lucas Miles. Let's take a closer look. These particular amplifiers are handmade here in Australia. One of the interesting things about them is they're basically all Fender clones. It doesn't look like they make any amplifiers of their own, but that said, what they do extremely well. I had a look at the official Lucas Miles website and all I could find were Fender clones. This particular amplifier looks eerily similar to a JTM 45 head, so odds are it's probably an older model that's been discontinued. Pretty cool. When I saw this Matt Schofield signature 50 watt 2-rock head, I thought to myself, man, I don't even want to know how much this is. But you know what? I looked it up. $5,250. These signature amplifiers always seem to hold their value a whole lot more than just the standard models, no doubt about it. Man, these amps would absolutely melt faces. What we have here is 2 JCM 800 amplifiers. The one on the top is the Lead Series amp. The one under it is actually a Kerry King signature JCM 800. Pretty cool. This is a really great sounding amplifier called a Summertone Overdrive 35. This might have one of the best onboard overdrive tones I've ever heard. I actually never heard of these amplifiers before walking into this shop. I since looked them up on YouTube. They sound absolutely spectacular. I'll post a link up in the card so you can see a demo video of this amp. It really sounds great. This is some sort of old school beat up Fender Blues Jr. I've never actually seen one in this particular color. Very cool. Mini humbuckers have to be the most underrated pickup ever. Check out this 1972 ES325. What a beautiful looking guitar. On the Gibson's immediate right, we have another Cherry ES335, but this one is actually made by Cort. If you follow my channel, you'll know I always say, and I said this on the last Guitar Search Saturday, that Cort guitars are probably the most underrated electrics and acoustics on the market. Check them out. Eastman are making some spectacular looking instruments, and this one's no exception. This is the Eastman AR910CE. This beautiful looking jazz guitar features a carved spruce top and a carved maple back and sides. I love the finish, it's very violin looking. I had a chance to play a few lefties last year at Jerry's Lefty Guitars in Sarasota, Florida, and they really exceeded my expectations, even though I can't jazz. This is a Martin John Lennon acoustic guitar. I had no idea these things even existed. I really loved the detail on the fretboard. I thought it looked great. Without question, these would have to be my three favorite guitars in the shop, all on one wall. The one on the top right is actually a 1964 Epiphone Casino, an original, not a reissue. I think it looks great. The Gibson Flying V on the top left is actually a Hall of Fame Jimi Hendrix model. I really dig the gold hardware on that particular guitar. I think it kind of works. And lastly, the guitar in the center is an original 1964 Fender Jag. Pretty sweet. Hanging off the wall, we definitely have an assortment of acoustics ranging from Martin to Cole Clark to Gibson to Martinez, so there's something for just about everybody. I know most of the guys that watch this channel love the electric guitars, so let's go through and have a look at what they've got. I'll shut up for a second and let you check it out. When I first saw this Les Paul, I was like, man, oh man, check this thing out. It looks absolutely beautiful. And then I actually found out it was a Japanese-made Bernie. In Australia, Japanese guitars are a dime a dozen. You can easily find a Bernie or a Tokai at most secondhand or used guitar shops. They're just really great instruments, rock solid. And this is the really cool thing about going into shops like the Guitar Colonel or any used guitar shop. You just never know what you're going to find. I've never actually seen one of these guitars before until now. This particular guitar is called a DBZ or DBZ, depending on where you live, Guitars Barchetta. I've never heard of it before, but it's the eminent electric guitar with a color called Amber Tobacco Burst. I dig it. This actual black Les Paul is a Tokai guitar. Check out the headstock. And to its right, we have a beautiful Les Paul Gold Top. Awesome. And that wraps up episode 25 of Guitar Search Saturday. A huge thanks again to the Guitar Colonel for allowing me to go through the shop and share it with you guys. If you want to find out more about them, all links will be on screen and in the description below. Now, Anthony, the Guitar Colonel, actually does some live streaming as well on Facebook, and he also uploads those to YouTube. I'll also post some links down there in the description, so you can check that out and support his show. I wanted to take a moment to give a special thanks to Colin, Jamal, Kristen, and also Mike McKenzie, who have been supporting Guitar Search Saturdays now for quite some time on Patreon. I really appreciate it. If you're thinking about signing up, even for $1, you get first dibs on any of my X-Demo products. So anything that I demo, you get at a ridiculously cheap price. A huge thanks again to these special subscribers for helping the show. I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel. If you do enjoy Guitar Search Saturday, and I'll also post the entire playlist of these videos up in the cards in case you want to binge watch some, because that's what I hear people do. Thanks again. Catch you soon. See ya.